2014, one of the most important releases in horror gaming occurred since the original release of Alone in the Dark. PT, it made mainstream what Frictional pioneered with Amnesia: The Dark Descent. PT, headed by the legendary Hideo Kojima, focused on a first-person perspective with heavy emphasis on environmental storytelling in a way that had yet to be seen in the genre. Puzzles were the hardest they'd ever been, and the community were in constant motion just figuring this game out. And when we did, it was revealed to be an unreleased Silent Hill title, aptly named Silent Hills. Now, the worst part of this isn't that it was canceled, but that Guillermo del Toro was also working on it with Kojima. Granted, they got together for Death Stranding much later, which I am very grateful for, but PT was as huge of a drop as Resident Evil 4 was nearly 10 years earlier. PT was so monumental, it resurrected Resident Evil back to its former glory, even if for only one game. But not all were roses. Now, every indie developer wanted to make the next PT. One of the first games I played here on this channel was a PT clone. But in this video, we'll be talking about the most popular clone, Madison. Have you ever seen The Taking of Deborah Logan? Yeah, if you haven't watched that before you played the game, do that, because it's basically the same thing. Okay, so listen, I don't normally do this, but I'm about to rip this game to shreds. Madison is considered scientifically the scariest game of all time, and I'm gonna be real. That's bullshit. This game can be scary, but mostly it isn't. It's some pretty basic shit. Most of it is just atmosphere and jump scares. And while writing, I looked into it, and this scary factor was completely based on the heart rate throughout the game, which, again, a reminder, there are a lot of jump scares. So yeah, of course, it's the scariest game of all time. It's constantly jump scaring you, so yeah, of course. Quick aside, granted, it's a lot of jump scares. Some of the jump scares are the best jump scares I've ever experienced in this genre. Now, not all of them were excellent, but many of them were. Jesus Christ, saw that fucking mouse jerk, god damn. God, he caught me good. God damn it. Jesus Christ. That is fucking intense. I hate this guy. Come on, man. Quit it. They got me. Jesus Christ. When I played Visage, if I died, I had to reload a save. In Madison, I used a death sequence as a shortcut to get across the map. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. There he goes. The way he just fades through the wall. I am scared. That's the shortcut though. I'm taking the shortcut. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. We're taking a shortcut. Oh, and the fucking salad fingers at home sequence? The song, it's cool as hell, but it's just discount Tiny Tim. And seriously, Blue Knees is just salad fingers, but like a bizarro Jeepers Creepers salad finger. Obviously, I don't have to say it, but the game is a walking simulator. But for once, I hated that aspect of it. Walking in this game is an absolute chore, and running is not much better. I hated moving around, and my frustration with the movement definitely hurt my overall experience in making it harder to scare me or even make me uneasy. Now, the voice actor for Luca, the main character you play as, bad pick. Horrible. I hated hearing Luca speak.
This is impossible. This place didn't look like this a second ago. I should find a nail or something to hang it with. What the hell has Dad been doing here?
I hated his writing. I hated his voice. I hated everything about this dude. He was written like total ass. It nearly ruins the entire experience single-handedly. What I did like about Luca, however, is that he does eventually die. It was also pretty annoying that I figured out the ritual Luca was doing was Madison tricking him into completing the ritual so she could take over his body. But he didn't. So you just have to keep playing the way the game wants you to, because despite, the knowledge, Luca is too stupid to figure it out, and he just walks face first into his own possession. The puzzles were awesome. I really enjoyed the puzzles. The church-colored hallways were one of my favorites, and the way the game randomizes puzzle solutions is also pretty great, which means you have to solve the puzzle. You can't just go look it up to move forward. It was a really nice touch. I really enjoyed that. The atmosphere is pretty great so long as Luca isn't talking. Things can be pretty damn tense throughout the game. The graphics are nice. They're expected for this style of game, realistic, low lighting, etc., etc. Now, I get why this is on people's top lists. It's baby's first horror game. Everyone wants to play the game that was marketed as the spiritual successor to PT, but no one wants to admit that the hype wasn't real. It's baby's first horror game, and that's okay. But it's nowhere near the scariest. I even tried to play the VR version of this game, before this, and for no goddamn reason, it just kept crashing. I had huge performance drops, and it was unplayable. And if you know anything about this channel, I play a lot of VR. We play a lot of VR horror games here. In fact, one of the next videos coming out is going to be a VR horror game, and it's just I've played games that demand more from my PC. And I've never had the problems that this game gave me. It was unplayable. Huge performance drops. So after I finished playing Visage early in the channel, I said I'd never play Visage again. And I meant that as a compliment. The game is horrible. I was pretty messed up playing that game. But after I finished Madison, I said I'd never play it again. And I mean that in the harshest way possible. I went into this already with tempered expectations. If something feels trendy, I tend to be pretty skeptical of the claims, and this is one of the cases. The game is currently $35 USD on Steam and $53 for the Madison bundle, which is just the flat and VR versions. And in my opinion, if you own one version, you should have the other version for free, but what do I know? Anyway, 35 is about 2.5 times more than I would be willing to pay for this. And the Madison bundle, if you want both of them, is like twice that. But I would only pay if I had to buy both of the versions together, I think $20 would be fair, not $53. $53 just to play the VR version of the game? Come on, get real. Get real. I feel like its prestige and popularity are what keep that price up, which is ass because it's not that good. Whatever. I know this is a shorter video. I really didn't have a whole lot to say about this game. I played it. If you don't play horror games and you want to have the crap scared out of you, This is one. If you play horror games, like a lot of horror games, and not just like trendy FNAFs, not that there's anything wrong with FNAF, but if you play most like trendy FNAFs, you'll really like this. But if you play like serious horror games, Alien Isolation, you know, early scarier Resident Evils, you know, some Silent Hills, just some real scary shit, Clock Tower, Tormented Souls, you know, all that shit. This isn't great. It's not great. As someone who like only plays, not only, but you know what I mean, like as someone who plays horror games 3 times a week for almost 5 hours a day, you know, I want my games to be scary. I want to be scared, and this just wasn't. It wasn't scary. I get why people think it's scary. I'd consider this to be like the Conjuring movies, right? With those 2 weirdos with the Annabelle doll. It's like those movies. It's horror for Christians. But also, The Taking of Deborah Logan is tight as hell. If you haven't seen The Taking of Deborah Logan, that's cool. That's a good movie. You should go see that. Anyway, that's it. That's the video. Slosh out. Fucking hate this game.